No, I was told about a woman who apparently was 10 hours in open water. So I looked her up, and because people were saying, no, can't see this, can't understand this, I don't believe this story. Don't know why, they were saying, we don't believe this. So I thought I'd have a look, nosy person that I am. I've got this footage, I've seen other footage, it's not very good, this is about the clearest so far found. If anybody has any clearer footage, I'd welcome it. This is entitled Woman Survives 10 Hours in Open Water After Cruise Ship Fall. Okay. Now then. Let's go for it.
How does a relaxing holiday turn into the stuff of nightmares for one British woman? She fell from the deck of her cruise ship this past week.
Says it all.
But she was
Sorry, what's happened here? I've hit something.
Rescued 10 hours later.
That's it.
Let's get the details on this.
10
Dominic
hours.
Velitis with more on the story. What an incredible survival tale, Dominic.
I noticed one thing she said. It wasn't an incredible story. An incredible tale.
Absolutely, Heather. And experts say a number of factors would have helped Kay Longstaff survive her ordeal. The Adriatic was relatively calm at the time. That certainly would have helped, but temperature appears to be the big factor here, Heather. Essentially, the warmer the water, the longer you can expect to survive. So to give you an example, and according to the experts, you can expect to survive 1 hour in 5 degrees Celsius, 2 hours in 10 degrees Celsius, and so on and so on. But when you get into the high 20s, which the Adriatic was at the time, then you're looking at being able to survive for up to 25 hours. All that said, it is remarkable Kay Longstaff managed to stay afloat for so long.
Right, so they've set about dismissing any question as to how she survived in the water. They begin with this, don't they? Why did they begin with this? They know what they're doing. And they're playing two halves here. Two halves of the game. So now they're dismissing any questions that people might have of how she remained in the water. We didn't ask the media. But they preempted, as per usual, what people might ask. And of course, they introduced experts. So bow down, everybody. Everybody. Home, home, home. What's the name of these experts? Get an idol to them and worship and serve them. Oh. That's what we're supposed to do. Yeah, we're the underlings, you see. Experts.
She was rescued some 60 miles off the coast of Croatia, and once back on dry land, she told reporters about her ordeal. Here she is.
I was in the water for 10 hours.
Really?
So these wonderful guys rescued me.
Mm-hmm.
Name is?
Kay, I am very lucky to be alive.
I'm very lucky to be alive. 10 hours. Now, just in case anybody whatsoever. Okay, let's go back even one more. Hey, Bargum. Says, right, why aren't you wrinkled? You've been in pigging water. You're not wrinkled. What about your hair? It's nice and glossy. It's not matted. What about the trauma? Huh? What about the emotions? Trauma. Of being in water for 10 hours. Can you imagine being in the... alone in a sea, completely alone, water up to your piggy neck, and you're not panicking? You're not panicking? You see, this is simply a story, a tale rather, that she is telling. She's not been in the pigging water for 10 hours. Show us the evidence, dear. This is what everything, ladies and gentlemen, boils down to. Show us the evidence. And we're living in a day and age now that if somebody says something, we're supposed to automatically believe it. I am sorry, you don't do that. Not to me. You show the evidence. Where's the evidence? She's been in the water 10 hours. There's no wrinkles. The hair's fine. There's no trauma. And when you put yourself in that situation, how does she stay afloat? Fear. Can you imagine being alone and all you're seeing around you is water? Nothing else but water. No land, nothing. No ships. Water. You're up to your neck in begging water. And you're trying to stay afloat rather than sink. Could you imagine the trauma of that? Absolute. That's frightening. Because the understanding says, well, mind, understanding, fear takes over. Because you're alone. You have nothing to distract you. There's nobody to keep you company. You're alone, and the mind and the thoughts go, shit. What now? Fear will take over. It's natural. We're human beings. Fancy being in that situation. There's no trauma. There's no expression of it by this woman. So she'd better give us some evidence. Her word is not enough. There's no evidence here of her being in water for that many hours.
Excuse me.
Your name is?
Kay. I am very lucky to be alive.
She says it, I'm very lucky to be alive, with that, how do you say, turn of the head, inclining of the head to say, very lucky to be alive. In other words, I've only been in the water when they rescued me X amount of time.
Lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
And experts say a positive mental attitude is also essential for surviving an ordeal like this, Heather. And reportedly, Kay Longstaff told her rescuers that she sang throughout the night to keep her spirits up. She credited the fact she practices yoga as well for her survival. So obviously, this is someone with a good level of personal fitness.
Oh, so she sang all night in the dark. Nothing but water all around her. Whilst crossing her legs then, is she? Home, I'm floating. What's she picking float by? There is a method whereby you can float without any artificial floats, right? And of course, not paddling to keep yourself afloat. I mean, you can only paddle for so long and then you're buggered. Because you get tired and then you go, woohoo, I'm taking on water. Bump. She sang all night. So how did she keep afloat? Eh? Sheesh. 10 hours. Eh? One of the things that, yes, you could possibly survive for 10 hours, but they don't mention it here. Okay? Is you could actually place yourself on your back in water and float. You can do that. If there's a couple, okay, if you're with your wife or your girlfriend and you're down at the sea, you try it. Go into the sea. It's hard to do it the first time. Get the other person. Lean back. You lean back. The other person. Sorry. You lean back with your arms out. The other person raises your feet. You hold your breath. And you float. Try it. Easiest thing in the world. You just float. And you don't have to hold your breath after that, but you just float. The mass of your body, you see, on the water enables you to float. And of course, surface tension of the water. She didn't do that. Well, she couldn't have done it if she's singing, because she can't sing. Can't sing. You're doing that. But how did she stay afloat and not drown? How has she got away with no wrinkles? How is her hair so nice? Well, nice to her.
An interesting aspect to all this, Heather, concerns how she was found. Croatian rescuers were able to work out her location after checking the cruise ship's CCTV, and after establishing the time she fell overboard, they were able to work out the exact position of the ship, which obviously narrowed their search considerably. Indeed,
I don't get this story. I don't get this story whatsoever. Let's go back one. The woman herself has given no evidence that she's been in the water for that length of time. Now, the only persons that have been able to locate her was the Navy. From the CCTV footage from the ship of her going overboard, from the time of it. Now, the ship's captain would have done the same. I'm not saying this is a fake event between the ship's captain and the Navy. I'm not saying that at all, but it doesn't add up, does it? Because fake events, come on, fake events are those things that are supposed to be about terrorism, ISIS and the like. Fake events, school shootings in the US to have gun control approved of by the people. But this, what is the purpose of this? I mean, I can understand if the girl or young woman or whatever you'd like to call this female had jumped overboard out of a tantrum, fell out with her boyfriend, jumped overboard, or was drunk, jumped overboard, because you have to jump over, you can't just fall overboard. I mean, even the owners of the ship would be in serious trouble if somebody could just simply fall over the railings. They'd lose millions. They'd probably go bankrupt. Because health and safety would say, you know, not giving you licenses until you've put these railings right, until you've paid compensation to this woman.
ship's CCTV, and after...
Sorry, let's go back one more. See what I mean? He's saying that the Navy, instead of this captain, the captain could have done as much as the Navy.
Rescuers were able to work out her location after checking the cruise ship's CCTV, and after establishing the time she fell overboard, they were able to work out the exact position of the ship, which...
Again, the captain could have done that. Is he incompetent? He's saying he's incompetent to do that. It's a picking simple thing. There's the time, 10 hours. This is the rate of mileage we've done on the Picking Ocean. So we go back to this point in time. The ship itself was supposed to have gone back to find the woman, but couldn't find the woman. Okay? But according to this, they didn't do the proper method of calculating time and speed and distance. Dear, go on.
That obviously narrowed their search considerably.
Really?
She was picked up just 1,300 metres from where she disappeared. How she fell overboard, the circumstances leading up to that, we don't yet know. But certainly this is one story that has a happy ending. Heather.
That is...
Happy ending this story now. Alright, so you've given us all the answers to the excuses, but sadly, even with your so-called experts who are not appearing here in person, okay, you still have no evidence that this woman's been in the water for 10 hours. You've got to give us the evidence. Sorry, buddy boys. I don't care if the establishment says it, the media fixed with the establishment says it. I don't care if the next door neighbour picking says it. I still want evidence. I want evidence, 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 and more evidence. That's what I want. I don't want rhetoric. I don't want stories. Don't want tales. I want evidence. Evidence. We come unstuck when we don't ask for evidence. Evidence must be there. Blinkered. You must strap evidence between eyes. Evidence. Evidence. In the court of understanding, evidence should be presented, not rhetoric. Everything in that court of understanding should be evidence based. And there we shall leave it at that.